Hello and welcome to the Dream Team Professor podcast. My name is Scott, and in this episode, we're going to be looking at my Matchday 1 team selection for the Euro 2024 Dream Team Fantasy Football game. Just going to talk you through why I chose each of the players I did and how they're getting on so far, because I'm recording this on Sunday before the games have taken place. If you're interested in subscribing to the channel, I'll be doing daily content, looking at all the top point scorers and key talking points from each of the Euro 2024 matches. So starting in goal, I went with Dubravka, really cheap, 1.5 enabling goalkeeper. The bit I struggled with a little bit with selecting him is because of this first game against Belgium. So a really crap fixture to start off with against Belgium. Maybe he'll make a few saves in that one and get a few points from that way. But overall, a pretty terrible fixture. But the other two fixtures I thought looked okay. So he's got Ukraine in Matchday 2 and Romania in Matchday 3. And I was looking at his goalkeeper's position, and obviously there were better choices for Matchday 1. 1.5 million. I've saved myself a lot of budget elsewhere in the pitch. And then by just sort of seeing out this Belgium match, I feel like I can at least save myself a transfer, because I wouldn't have wanted to use a transfer to change my keeper from Matchday 1 to Matchday 2. So I did like the look of Lunin from Ukraine, but I felt like I was going to have him for 2 matches, and then in that case, want to swap him on for the 3rd match anyway when he faces Belgium. So I decided to just go with Dubravka, and I'm pretty certain I'm just going to keep him the whole way through the group stages and just accept that he's not that great. Then I went for the German left back, Mittelstadt, who has been tipped in just about every single Euro fantasy format. And he looked pretty good, to be honest with you. So he was 3.5 million, which was the cheapest way into the Germany defence. Did expect a clean sheet, really, against Scotland. I think they were unlucky not to keep it, really. They were completely dominant. And then an own goal from Rudiger right late on in the game cost a clean sheet. So felt slightly unlucky with that one. He got 3 points and was promising. He had 3 shots, 4 touches in the box, put in plenty of crosses, and I think he had 2 chances created as well. So a little bit disappointed he didn't keep the clean sheet, but I think he looks promising to hold throughout the group stages. I went for DiMarco as a £4 million defender from Italy, because I really like the look of Italy against Albania. Italy had really good clean sheet odds against Albania for this match. Again, no clean sheet, and this one was actually directly DiMarco's fault. So he made the error that led to the goal, threw the ball straight to one of the Albania players within the first minute, I think it was. And they went on to score. So he was completely to blame for losing the clean sheet. He did come away with 4 points. He had 1 shot on target, and he just about scraped 5 player performance marks. So did manage to come away with a bonus point as well, leading to 4 points in total. Was taking corners, was pretty involved in general, but he faces Spain in the next fixture. So I'll likely be moving DiMarco out of the team for that one, because I'm not expecting that they keep a clean sheet in that one either. Then at the back, so I've gone for a fairly premium defender, or definitely a premium defender, in Cancelo from Portugal. So he faces the Czech Republic. So in all, I've got a fairly expensive defence, actually, more expensive than I was expecting. So I've got 3.5 in Mittelstadt, 4 million in DiMarco, and 4.5 in Cancelo. But I do imagine I'll be moving DiMarco onto someone a bit cheaper. Cancelo 4.5, he had 11 average points in qualifying, so 11 points per game roughly, scoring 3 goals in 8 starts. Portugal's group looks really good. So fixtures against Czech Republic, Turkey, and Georgia. I think I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be keeping Cancelo through that, unless there's any sort of sign that he's not going to be playing. So excited to see what he does against Czech Republic. Maybe he gets me my first clean sheet of the tournament. And then I've gone for another Portuguese player in midfield, one we're all familiar with, Bruno Fernandes. So he comes in at 6 million. So quite an expensive option, but he had 6 goals, 7 assists in qualifying from 10 matches. He started all 10 of those 10 matches, so completely nailed. And for me, as you can see, I've not got Ronaldo in my team. I probably would have had Bruno Fernandes anyway. But if you don't go with, if I didn't go with Ronaldo, I just had to have Bruno Fernandes in this team, because if Portugal are going to be scoring goals, I feel like there's a high chance that Bruno Fernandes will be involved in those. So I've gone for Bruno in midfield, and he's bringing that really good form as well, that he carried over from Man United at the end of the season into this tournament. So I'm quite confident that Bruno Fernandes should do pretty well. I think he's on corners. He'll be on free kicks if Ronaldo's in the box to cross them into. But if Ronaldo is on the pitch, I imagine Ronaldo will be taking the penalties. But maybe there's a chance Ronaldo goes off early and Bruno Fernandes can step up. Then on to my midfielder, who's leading the way as my top point scorer so far. And I'm really pleased with how this one's gone. So I've gone for Dominik Szoboszlai at 3.5 million from Hungary. Hungary didn't perform anywhere near like I expected them to. So they lost 3-1 to Switzerland. Switzerland actually really impressive in that game. But Szoboszlai did do what I expected. He was completely involved with everything that Hungary did. He played the 90 minutes. He grabbed an assist, which got 3 points. He had 2 big chances created. And then he came away with 3 bonus points, 9 player performance marks. So that was broken down into 85% pass completion rate, 3 successful crosses, which he was taking every set piece, even free kicks on the halfway line, he was delivering. 1 successful dribble, 2 fouls won, and then 1 block. That's how he got his 9 performance marks, which got him 3 bonus. And the reason I went with him, he had the 4th highest average dream team points in qualifying. So ffstuff.co.uk were kind enough to put up a database sort of translating what players did based on their stats in qualifying and then turning those stats into what would have been dream team points. And Szoboszlai came out with the 4th highest average. Obviously, he was on all set pieces. He had 4 goals, 3 assists, and he had the highest player performance marks in qualifying out of every player in the game, or every player involved. So it looks like that has translated from the qualifying straight into the tournament. So I was really pleased with that. 3 bonus points, 2 big chances created, and an assist. Fully lift up to his numbers and expect to keep him. Even for that Germany game, I think he'll still be fairly busy in that one. Maybe we'll see a few more tackles, a few more blocks and interceptions, but still he's getting these bonus points from taking a lot of the set pieces, which I feel like you still get them even against the big opposition. Now, only 2 days into the tournament, I've then had my big flop of the tournament already, which is Xherdan Shaqiri from Switzerland. The first big mistake, it seems, in my team. So I thought that it looked like he was nailed to start, really. I think nailed loosely, actually, but he started 7 out of 10 in qualifying. And he played a full 90 minutes in the second from last friendly before the tournament for Switzerland. He was in all of the predicted lineups that I saw. And I felt like it looked like he was in line to start this game. And I think a lot of people were in agreement from what I saw on Twitter. But it looked like they had a sort of a bit of a change in shape, and it really did work for Switzerland as well, sort of playing those wing backs. But the only thing that maybe we could have said is that with Shaqiri, the manager did come out and say in the build up to the tournament that he doubted that he would be able to play sort of 2 matches within 3-4 days, which, okay, I sort of saw that as he may not be able to play every game, but I still thought he would be in the best team. So I kind of thought that Shaqiri would be in line to start the first match. Maybe there's a risk that he could go off early, 60, 70 minutes. Maybe he couldn't play the second game. But I was completely sure that he would start this first game. And not only that, he was on all set pieces, all penalties throughout qualifying. He scored a penalty in one of the last friendly matches before the competition started. Pretty similar to the Szoboszlai scenario. So on penalties, on all set pieces, looked decent for bonus. He had good attacking returns as well in qualifying. Yeah, I just thought that this would be a really, really good option and a little bit of a differential as well at 2.5 million. Seemed a bit of a bargain and seemed to have a bit more upside than going for a 2.5 million pound defender, something like that. But hey-ho, did not start, did not play. But the bit that's most gutting of it all, I think, is because, and I'll talk about it later, I played my goal booster this week, and I kind of had the strategy to sort of pack my team out with set piece takers and penalty takers in the hope that I could get a goal from the penalty spot or from a set piece. So extra gutting that I've got a player on my team that did not play while this goal bonus booster was in play. But hey ho, these things happen, especially when we can't see the lineups before selecting our team. So now on to an equally annoying pick, which actually hasn't been that bad, but I want to tell you why it's so annoying. So I went for Gundogan at 4 million for Germany, playing in that number 10 position. I felt like he was a really, really good pick, especially being on penalties, and got a lot of good memories of him playing for City, crashing the box late, getting those clutch goals. I really did like him as an option. And when I did my Group A preview video, I put Gundogan right up there. When I actually did that video before FF Stuff's player data was released, and once I saw that player data released, it became more apparent that Musiala looked like he was going to be absolutely brilliant for player performance marks and getting bonus, whereas Gundogan, actually, his average points wasn't that great. But I still liked Gundogan for the fact that he was on penalties, and that Scotland fixture did look really good on paper. But because I was playing the goal bonus, it kind of swayed me to want to pick the penalty takers. I felt like that gave them a better chance of scoring. So I went for Gundogan just because I was playing that goal bonus booster, really. I had Musiala in quite a lot of drafts. So that was sort of the thinking of going for Gundogan, and it felt like it was almost going to pay off. So during the game, there was an early penalty shout, or penalty given for Germany. Gundogan went rushing, looking for the ball to sort of take this penalty, it seemed. But then VAR had ruled that the foul was actually outside of the box. And that penalty was overturned and wasn't given. So I thought, oh, so close to getting that Gundogan penalty. Then Gundogan was absolutely crunched in the box for a horrible tackle, a straight red. And I thought, this is it. This is the pen. But Gundogan was down for a long, long time, sort of getting treatment, holding his leg. And the longer he was down, the more and more I started to think, is he going to be all right? Is he going to go straight off? Is he going to take it? And he was too injured to take the penalty. He was still limping around when sort of Havertz then picked up the ball. As happy as I was for Kai Havertz, one of Arsenal's players, to have scored the penalty, I could not help but feel hard done by that. Gundogan should have been taking that penalty, really. He is the penalty taker. He's taken the last few penalties. I think it was last 2 for Germany. Then the last couple that he didn't take, he wasn't on the pitch. So Gundogan is the penalty taker and should have been taking that penalty, but he was too crunched by the Scottish player to take it. So I feel quite hard done by there, especially on a goal boost. He was so close to getting it. But 7 points in total isn't a bad return. So he got the assist for winning the penalty. He had a shot on target. He had 2 tackles. And actually watching the game, I thought he looked really, really good as well in that number 10 position. But I must say, Musiala and Wirtz also looked really good and also grabbed goals. And I've seen a lot of people with Musiala and Wirtz with the goal bonus played. So fair play, really, really good to return for them. I just feel a tiny bit hard done by. Then on to my captain next, or my front three. Let's talk about the front three. So this was a hard decision because, of course, Kane, Mbappe, Lukaku, and Ronaldo, all really, really good striking options up top. Really, really hard decision between the 4 of them, which 3 to choose. And I was actually quite tempted to even go with the 12th man, to remove the decision from my hands and make sure that I had all 4, and then maybe go with the better one in match day 2. The Mbappe doubts also had me quite close to leaving Mbappe out. So I had done drafts with Kane, Ronaldo, Lukaku, when it sort of seemed like Mbappe could be a doubt for the match, but it sort of later sort of appeared that Mbappe might actually be okay. So yeah, it left me with doubts. So I might have removed Mbappe, but in the end, I decided to go for Kane, Mbappe, Lukaku. And the reason I sort of did that was because I felt like if I was going to have to leave one of them out, the difference between the best player and sort of the second best player seemed a bit less for Portugal, if that makes sense. So, for example, if I didn't have Harry Kane, I'd want to have Bellingham. If I didn't have Mbappe, I'd probably want Griezmann. And if I didn't have Lukaku, I'd probably want Doku or KDB. I felt like the gap between Mbappe and Griezmann's quite big. The drop-off between Kane and Bellingham felt fairly big. And the drop between Lukaku, Doku and KDB felt fairly big. But to me, felt like the gap between Bruno Fernandes and Ronaldo in terms of point scoring didn't seem as big. So I went for Bruno, Kane, Mbappe, Lukaku. I fully accept that Ronaldo could do really, really well. It's not like I've left him out because I think he's not bad. You have to choose 3 out of 4. And I felt like this would be the best way of doing it, but I certainly don't feel comfortable about it. And then depending how this week goes as well, I'm starting to feel like I probably will consider having that 12-man chip in play for either match day 2 or match day 3, so that I can cover all of these strikers because they are really, really good options. Talking of captaincy and talking of boosters, I'll start with the captaincy. So I've gone for Harry Kane as the captain, so he'll be playing tonight. The way I decided this was I kind of felt like Lukaku had maybe the best fixture against Slovakia. But I feel like as sort of premium strikers, Kane and Mbappe are probably the most reliable when it comes to sort of being big game players, big reliable goal scorers. I feel like Lukaku, maybe it's a little bit from hangover from the last tournament, but a little less reliable in front of goal than Kane and Mbappe. I think that is fair to say, despite Lukaku's good qualifying round. So for me, the captaincy was between Kane and Mbappe. And the Mbappe doubts, coupled with Austria being a fairly tough game, kind of pushed me towards Harry Kane with the armband. So I'm backing the English boy for this evening against Serbia. And then I've gone for Mbappe as the vice captain, choosing the goal bonus booster. Choosing between that and 12th man, again, like I mentioned, was a tough decision. I especially thought that maybe doing 12th man may have been a decent option to make sure I had 4 strikers if Mbappe was a risk as well. I felt like that was a little bit of an insurance policy. But looking at the fixtures, I really, really like the fixtures for this week. And I've really, really backed my players to score. So I quite like the front threes fixtures. Obviously, Bruno versus Czech Republic. I feel like Bruno always has goal threat. Szoboszlai, Shaqiri and Gundogan. Also, I know Shaqiri didn't play, but these 3 are penalty takers, along with Kane, Mbappe, Lukaku. So I felt like, coupled with the good fixtures, I then had 6 penalty takers as well against lesser opposition. But it wasn't just the midfielders and strikers. Mittelstadt, obviously an attacking defender at left back for Germany, was playing against Scotland. So I felt like that was Germany's best fixture, maybe to get goals all over the pitch. So I felt like maybe there was an off chance that we could get a goal there. DeMarco against Albania, probably their best fixture. And I've looked it up, and DeMarco was having plenty of shots on target per game, or shots per game in qualifying. And then Cancelo, we know that Cancelo's goal threat, 3 goals in qualifying. So I felt like I could have good fixtures for the back line and defenders with a decent chance of scoring as well, coupled with all those penalty takers. So I felt like this was a good goal bonus week. But I must say, sort of 2-3 days into the tournament, and what have I got left? I've got 3 big hitters, Bruno Fernandes and Cancelo. I must say, I am a little bit worried at how this goal bonus is turning out, but still some good players to play. Slightly unlucky with the Gundogan scenario, and Szoboszlai did well, but you can't quite guarantee goals from midfield or defence. So yeah, not very happy with how it's turned out so far, but there is still time to redeem it. So let me know how your team has been getting on so far. Let us know if you played a booster as well in game week 1. And when you're intending to play yours, I'm sort of leaning towards maybe going 12th man for match day 2. But we'll wait and see. There's still plenty of games to take place. Do like this video and subscribe. Like I said, I'll be doing regular content throughout the Euros. I'm going to be doing recaps of all the games that have taken place so far with all the top point scorers and key talking points. I'm going to use FF Stuff's really, really good match center to talk through who's getting the bonus points, who's performing well. And then tomorrow night, I will be live with the Dream Team Tonic podcast we'll be live to our Patreon community. There'll be a link in the description below if you'd like to become a Patreon member and listen to that. Be really, really good. We'll begin our thoughts on the tournament so far and then what we're thinking for match day 2. So do like and subscribe to this and head over to the Dream Team Tonic podcast. Check out our next episode. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Goodbye.